Hello, I'm Dusan Grant, Creative Director for Arthur Christine Salon Academy.
And I'm Rachel Grant, Color Director.
And welcome to our tutorials.
Hello, my name is Dusan Grant for Arthur Christine Salon Academy, joined here by the beautiful Rachel.
We're going to showcase two looks, one of which we have the beautiful model today, Michelle. We've done just a beautiful job earlier. Rachel's actually worked on her color. We're going to actually go through and demonstrate their signature closed fist application technique. So we're going to go through section by section. I'm going to use the Miss Jessie's curl pudding just to add that really optimal amount of texture and definition for her texture. As you can see, she's more like a kinky curly texture of hair. So the closed fist techniques, it works in just a very effective way for this type of texture. And then afterwards, we're going to finish off and just to do a little bit of diffuse drying just to kind of accentuate the shape that she's had done. And it's going to come into just a really beautiful finish in the end. So, Rachel, what are you into?
This is alright. This is my model Kara. This is my model Kara. We did our double strand twist about 2 weeks ago, and we did this lovely twist out. We chose to use a cream in her case. And for those of you who are wondering, should I use a cream or a gel? Typically, if a product flakes, your hair does not like it. But typically, a cream will give you more of a whimsical look, and a gel will give you more of a definitive look. So it depends on what look you're going for. In this case, my model Kara, she likes the cream look. So I just wanted to showcase just how do you do twist outs. A lot of times, people will grab the hair and just kind of grab it like that, and then it's super, super frizzy. But in this case, you're going to grab one, flip it away, and you're just gonna untwist it the same exact way that it was twisted, all the way down. And you could actually do this the same day and still have your twist last just as long. And then you're just gonna take it apart. And the fantastic part of this technique is that it's still encased in the product, it's still protected, and then I haven't, messed with the integrity of that curl. So she can actually keep going and just have a beautiful twist out look. And if she used a gel, then she could have a little bit more definition. So you just continue to just untwist them in the opposite direction that they were twisted. And as you get faster with that, it just comes out to just be really amazing. Now with twist outs, depending on your curl pattern, every twist out will have its own personality. So if you're looking at YouTube and all of that, you just want to actually look at, how your hair will do. It's kind of like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So we're going to wash our models and we'll be right back.
So we've gone through section by section on my model Michelle here. I've used the closed fist technique to give just an optimal amount of definition. And so when I'm using a closed fist, it's not leaving any areas out. So one of the benefits of that is that I'm not just kind of going through spontaneously and just pulling little pieces at a time. This technique is giving you a lot more thorough area of application with the product. And so when her hair is actually dry, we'll have a lot of consistency with the product application all throughout. And so what about you, Rachel? Do you find that when you use the closed fist technique, you use it on all lengths or?
Yes, and it's very important when you're doing a technique on kinky hair. At the moment, we have Michelle, who has kinky curly hair. She has curly definition with a little bit of frizziness to it. And my model Kara, she's also a little bit kinky, has a little bit of a fine texture, kind of like cotton, but it's also a bit wiry. And the neat thing about double strand twist, what I'm doing here, is you can set the hair on itself. You can also do little finger twists, things like that to manipulate the hair. There's all sorts of things you can do. And as we did earlier, we showed you the twist out. And this is how we get to it. And basically what I do is a small half circle section. And when I do half circle sections, I can do a half circle here, I can do a half circle here, and I can do one here instead of parting it all the way around and having to do squares. And it looks a lot more natural so that you don't see parts. Now, one of the mistakes people make when they do double strand twists is they'll twist them towards themselves because they're doing it themselves. But in actuality, if you don't want it to lay a certain way, you actually need to twist it the other way. So I've doing my own hair, it would look like this. And I just pretty much I chose to use again the cream. And I'm just gonna put it all over the roots. Because when I parted out of the horseshoe sectioning, I'm gonna lightly comb it through, again without ripping the hair. So it's just very light, and that evenly distributes the product through the hair. And then I'm going to start twisting. So Dusan, what would you say would be a good method to not having frizzy hair? A lot of people say, well, I've tried that and my hair doesn't have any definition, or it gets poofy at the end of the day. What kind of advice would you give?
I think if you're applying the product methodically, again, throughout the shape, that's going to be one of the ways that you can deter from having any additional frizz. And then also your finishing product. We're going to finish off, I believe we're going to use the Glimmer Shine as well, the Shimmer Shine actually. We're going to finish off with that actually, just to kind of seal the ends. And so just being mindful of the texture. I study the texture a lot when I work with the natural texture for sure, just to make sure that the products that I use are just a great complement to making sure that the curls are going to really be effective when I'm working with the natural texture.
Now just so you can see what Kara's hair looks like, if I decided to do the close this technique. So I'm gonna close it, put it at the root. There's no air between my fingers. It's like I'm pushing that product to the hair. And you want to make sure that the hair is almost pulled straight, and that I'm actually stretching it. And the more and more you go through it, the more the hair is actually going to be emulsified. The first time you do it, it's not going to be like that. A lot of people will do that and it doesn't really do anything. But you actually want to really get into the hair, really work it through, and the more you work it through, it gets in the hair. And another thing we wanted to mention is when we take out our twists, we brush it through with the Demon brush, as I mentioned before. And then we brush it through with conditioner before we wash it out. Because when you're dealing with twists, gel twists, twist out all of those kind of things, the hair tends to have little knots on the ends. So you want to make sure that you get all of that nice and clear before you do it. And you notice that when I brushed it out before you, that her hair had memory, so it wasn't upset and tangling, because I'm always treating it nice and conditioning it. With kinky hair, it's like SpongeBob with no water. If you don't curl it through, it won't emulsify very well in the hair. So when you comb it, or brush it rather, you'll actually be able to get that moisture inside the hair. So that's it. Number one rule with curly hair is brushing the hair through, and that's the difference of night and day.
So I'll go through with my pointer finger, my middle finger, and just kind of massage the temple area through, just to kind of give the texture a little bit more of an expansive feel, a little more of a fuller shape. And also sometimes you want to go with a certain type of silhouette. So when you use that technique, your pointer finger, your thumb, and just kind of massage the hair from the underneath and work your way out, you can actually start to kind of create a really unique form, and it just adds to the overall style of the look that you're going for. And so that's one of the other tips that I like to share with anyone that's working with the texture. When you don't want to distort the shape too much, go through just in that area and just kind of really softly and slowly just massage the texture through, so that you won't kind of alter the shape too much.
So Dusan, would you do a finger twist the style? What would that look like?
Finger twist actually can work just the same. It just depends on the size of the curl. You know, in our next tutorial, we're going to showcase that quite a bit. So I'm just going to kind of leave you all in suspense a little bit. But the finger twist technique is also, you know, a very effective technique when you're working with natural curl. As you can see, my model Michelle has quite a really nice tight coral texture. So it basically allows for me to really get a really springy curl. I can use that effect to add a lot of geometry to the shape if I like to. I can also use it to add a lot of the texture. She has these amazing panels of highlights that are also shining through too. And so I always want to be mindful that when I'm going for an overall finish, I want to look and diagnose the overall style, the shape, the appearance, just to really make everything kind of pop and give it the most optimal amount of exposure that we can give the look.
Dusan, what would be your advice on what side she should style it on? How would she get volume? What are the dangers of parting it straight down the middle?
I think that our texture in general, natural texture that is, should just have a excessive amount of freedom to the look. I think that having a set parting takes away from that. You know, anything that's stationary doesn't have the illusion of movement. I love the curls to have movement. So with natural parting, you know, or when setting a parting, and you know, that's one of the things that I don't really always encourage. So I do like the curls to feel quite loose when I'm working with any of my clients throughout the day when they're working with styles. I also like to play around with different angles and different shapes and placement of where I choose to part the hair, just so that you can really give it the most effective look. In this case, I'm working with a cut, this fabulous cut that you've done, so I want the hair to actually have the illusion of movement even when it's standing still, so I'm stretching the hair off the face so that it adds a little bit more definition, especially through this area where the hair tends to be challenged with hydration. I wanted to make sure that this is saturated with my cream that I'm using today, so that as the curls dry out, it actually emulsifies into the hair in a soft manner, so that the curls don't look hard, they look natural and soft and have a little bit of a fluffy kind of ness to them. But sometimes when you apply the product a little too aggressively, you can actually make the hair texture not really have a soft, natural appeal. And so the close twist technique definitely has a lot of effect in that way, so it allows you to have a lot more control. So basically to deter from creating a flatter or less voluminous effect onto the hair when you work with the natural texture, just make sure that you are styling the hair rather away from the face, and in doing so you'll be able to have a lot more of a fuller effect. Whereas sometimes you'll see many of those that have tried to accomplish that natural effect they've gone through with the center parting. Obviously, as you can see, when I work a center parting through, it's taking away any natural lift, natural volume that I would have at the end of my look. So what's encouraged is to actually do quite the opposite. Work through quite loosely and dress the hair off of the face, and in doing so you'll be able to get, as you can see, just some amazing volume and lift off of the hair texture.
Yes, and folks, you don't have to worry about this product drying purple. It will dry clear. Now, having said that, if you have a meeting to go to, I would suggest that you would either sit in the dryer and let it dry, or you would do it the night before. You have to go for feeding with purple, not so much. All right, today we have completed our double strand twist today. You can choose the size you want. You can do some bigger, some smaller, or you know, all small or all big, depending on the look you want. And here we decided to go all the way back here again to give that volume, because if it's straight up and down, it's going to give you that flat look. So we had these slightly diagonally coming back this way, and then here ends curls, we just took it and twisted the bottom like that. And then I put on my favorite stuff here, the Kevin Murphy Shine, and it has all these nice A and C oils in there. And it has 14 karat gold light glitter obviously here. And here's our completed look, and I hope you enjoy it.
Here we have our beautiful, again, here's my finished look. We have Michelle here where we've done this fantastic natural style finish. We've used the curl pudding from Miss Jessie's using our Ultra Pristine signature closed palm technique. And in doing so, we added so much more definition and texture to the curl. As you can see, it's just a beautiful finish. And I'm looking forward to sharing a lot more of the signature techniques for natural texture in our future tutorials. So stay tuned, and thank you again for joining us here at Ultra Pristine.
Yes, and if you like one-on-one instruction, you can always come with us and learn with us one-on-one with our great instructors here. Thank you.
My name is Dusan.
And I'm Rachel. Thank you for watching our tutorial.
For further information, please join us at authorchristine.com. And remember, it's all about the look, the feel, the be greater than Author Christine.
Thank you.